Tonight, the Speaker Emerita, Nancy Pelosi, widely regarded as one of the most powerful House speakers in modern history, and also the first woman to ever hold that role, has announced that she will not be seeking re-election. It's a decision that will surely leave a void, not just inside the Democratic Party, where Pelosi became the face of historic clashes with President Trump, including this famous moment where she ripped up his State of the Union speech back in 2020, but also here in the halls of Congress behind me, where Pelosi has represented the people of San Francisco ever since her first election win nearly 4 decades ago in 1987. My source tonight is Saikat, who is the first to launch a bid for Pelosi's House seat earlier this year, and is also the former chief of staff and campaign manager for Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And it's great to have you back here on the show because you had been critical of Speaker Pelosi on this show. Obviously, you launched your challenge to her seat before her announcement tonight. But I wonder, now that she has announced that she is no longer running, how you're viewing her legacy tonight.
Yeah, from the start of this campaign, I've always said I've got a lot of respect for the career she's had. And my critique was really about what do we think we need today? But I watched her retirement video today and, honestly, it was very moving. It was a love letter to San Francisco. And she really made this point about how San Francisco has always represented the future of this country. And not just because we're the home of the tech industry, but because we've always fought to push the country when the country isn't moving. And she really was that when she first came into Congress. At that time, San Francisco was being ravaged by the HIV/AIDS epidemic. And she was kind of this fearless voice that really fought for HIV/AIDS help at that time. And she got actual legislation passed. She got money into a district. And, I think it's really amazing. I think she's had an amazing career. And I think it's really a huge act of leadership for her to step down and keep that legacy intact. So you don't see that all too often in Washington.
Yeah. Do you think that's a move that other leaders should follow?
I do, and I don't think it's about age. I don't think it's about just how long you've been there. I do think that we're at a point where we do need a new Democratic Party. And I've been calling for that the entire time that I've been running. I think we need leaders right now who have the strength and the energy to actually fight this authoritarian coup that Trump is leading. But more than that, we've got to recognize that the American dream has just been shattered, and that's been going on for decades. That's the reason why we have Trump in there in the first place. And it's the reason why we got Barack Obama in 2008. People need leaders who are going to swear off corporate money, swear off lobbyist money, and actually fight to build an economy that really works for everyone. And I really think that's possible. I think this is going to be the moment because we're going to get 4 years of MAGA. We're going to get 4 years of Trump, where Trump will have completely failed to actually deliver anything for the American people. So it's our chance to present a real vision for how to do the big structural changes that people are really demanding.
Well, and when you were here the last time, back in February, you said you thought the Democratic Party needed a whole revolution. Do you think Tuesday made you one step closer to that, or how did you view those elections?
Oh, yeah, I think it did. And it was really incredible because what I think is a fundamental fight within the Democratic Party right now is what we stand for. And I think that's actually intimately connected to how we campaign. Because in the party right now, there's an establishment that believes the only way to win races is from how much money you raise from your corporate donors. And what I saw in Zoran Mamdani's race was it didn't matter how much money got thrown at him because he was outspent like $1 million to 1 or whatever it was, right? But he still was able to win because he actually stood for working people. He stood on a popular platform and he was able to mobilize a movement. And what that means is that when he's in power, that's going to be his source of power. He recognizes that he got there because of the people, not because of the money. I hope that we can do that across the country because I think that's the only way we recreate a Democratic Party that's actually going to take the hard steps necessary to build an economy that works for working people.
Yeah, and you mentioned, obviously we focus so much on Zoran Mamdani. He's generated so much attention because of what a political rise it was. When you look at the races from Abigail Spanberger, though, and Mikey Sherrill in Virginia and New Jersey, respectively, does that show that there are other parts of the Democratic Party that are appealing to a more centrist, more moderate base in their races that were successful for them?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even love using the words like centrism versus progressivism or moderate versus left, because I don't think that's the real fight right now. I think the fight is about do you actually want to do something to build a new economy, or do you want to play it safe and not do much? And what I saw in Abigail Spanberger's race and Mikey Sherrill's race is they also stood for affordability. And I mean, Mikey Sherrill was calling for freezing utility rates in New Jersey, right? She is leaning into the fact that we actually have to be talking about doing something to make life livable for working people and for really, frankly, everybody. And I think that's a very exciting development. I'd love to see a Democratic Party where everybody is realizing that we have to talk, you have to focus with a laser focus on affordability, on the cost of living crisis. And then it's not going to be enough to just pass a few small reforms to get us there, because these problems have gotten to a point where we need to do things like pass single-payer healthcare, because we're the only developed nation in the world that doesn't guarantee healthcare to everybody, and we're the richest one. We can do it. We need to be talking about passing taxes on the wealthiest people in our society, because that's possible to do. We need to be talking about getting rid of money in politics. These are all very popular policies, and it's very exciting to me to see every part of the Democratic Party starting to adopt that.
Saikat Chakrabarti, thank you, and great to have you back on the show.